This is KGW News at noon.
I strongly believe that this is a moment in which all Americans can take great pride.
This morning, the White House celebrated the confirmation of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the U.S. Supreme Court. She's the first black woman to become a justice. But President Biden and Vice President Harris weren't the only ones marking the occasion. Judge Jackson's former high school held a pep rally in her honor. Here's what one student had to say.
I personally want to study law and I want to go into politics, and to know that she was in the exact same place as I am and she made it up there gives me hope for my future.
The Senate confirmed Judge Jackson yesterday, with 3 Republicans joining Democrats in favor of her nomination. She'll join the court this summer after Justice Stephen Breyer retires. After she's sworn in, the Supreme Court will have 2 black justices and 4 women for the first time. Stay with us. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll have local reaction to this historic moment. Well, here are some of the other local headlines that we're tracking for you this noon. A huge fire broke out at an apartment complex in Lake Oswego. It happened last night at 7:30 on Evergreen and 3rd Street. Drone video showing plumes of smoke and flames burning through the roof. Fire crews say 7 units are a total loss. 1 person was hurt and 1 cat died. Investigators say someone who was cooking started this fire. The Red Cross is helping the 22 tenants who lost their homes. A beachcomber made a chilling discovery on a Lincoln City beach. The person found a man's body partially buried in the sand. It was discovered in the area south of Canyon Drive Park. Lincoln County Police say the body was near the base of a cliff embankment. The name of the man has not been released, and we don't know how he died. Well, the search is on hold today for Ryan Mather, the snowboarder who disappeared at Mount Hood Meadows. The Hood River County Sheriff says weather today just made conditions too dangerous for search teams. Going forward, Meadows Ski Patrol will continue looking for Mather. The 30-year-old was reported missing on Tuesday. And those are some of your local headlines. Let's head back to the Weather Center now. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is tracking some big changes in the forecast.
Well, there's no doubt you probably have noticed some changes out there in your forecast, and that's going to be the case heading into the afternoon as well. We're not going to be nearly as warm. It's going to be a while before we touch 70 degrees again. Of course, yesterday was actually 75, the warmest day of the year so far. I'm tracking the chance for see some heavier showers and thunderstorms develop throughout the later part of the afternoon. You can see by 2:30, 3 o'clock along the Oregon coast, we'll be seeing some yellows and some oranges on the radar. As we look at the futurecast, some of those heavier showers will carry over the mountains, but a lot of the showers will be producing some good amount of snow, not just tonight, but into the weekend as well. I'm forecasting well over a foot, maybe a foot and a half by end of Saturday night and early Sunday morning. You go throughout the later part of the weekend, we'll continue to see some scattered showers, and they will be heavy at times. The other thing I'm tracking is the snow levels. It actually drops down late Saturday night into Sunday. How low? Down to 1,000 feet. And coming up in the full forecast, we'll let you know just how much snow I'm expecting to see later on in the weekend.
The murder trial of Nancy BROPHY will resume on Monday after taking today off. The romance novelist is accused of killing her husband Daniel in 2018. Yesterday, his parents took the stand. Jack BROPHY testified about the couple's financial situation. He says his son never told him about any money trouble, but he did say he loaned Nancy $50,000 once because she wanted to open a restaurant. He said he only got a quarter of his money back. Daniel's mother, Karen BROPHY, also testified for the second day. She said she never talked with her son about guns, but she did remember Nancy talking about buying a gun.
She talked about having dinner with friends, and they had talked about guns, and they had guns, and that was time when Sandy Hook happened. I don't remember what year that was, but it was when some of those bad mass shootings were in the news a lot, that she said, well, maybe we should consider that.
The defense claims Nancy's interest in guns was driven by research for her novels. The trial is set to go on for another 3 weeks. Nancy BROPHY's lawyer says she is expected to take the stand. Oregon health officials say for the first time in more than 2 months, they are seeing an increase in positive COVID test results. During the week that ended April 3rd, the percentage of tests coming back positive went up from 2.7% to 2.9%. However, there is some positive news. Hospitalizations continue to fall. In Oregon, they're at their lowest level since July of 2021. This graph shows hospitalizations dating back to April 2020. Those two big peaks were in September of 2021 and January of this year. In both instances, more than 1,000 people were hospitalized statewide with COVID. Today, 84 people are hospitalized with the virus in Oregon. Well, we can't forget about the toll that COVID has taken on our neighbors, communities, and in Oregon's prison system. Now families of inmates who died are suing the state. Pat Doris took a closer look at the case last night on The Story.
It was just about 2 years ago when we started reporting on rampant outbreaks in community settings like prisons, where people are not able to stay 6 feet apart from each other or isolate safely if they're exposed to COVID. Since then, 45 prisoners in Oregon have died of coronavirus, and more than 5,000 others have gotten COVID. That's a lot. Those prisoners and their families are now part of a class action lawsuit that was just approved by a federal judge. And I know some of you at home may be thinking all of this special attention on prisoners is unwarranted, since after all, they were convicted of crimes. Well, Juan Chavez from the Oregon Justice Resource Center explains why it is important.
This is a unique situation where the Constitution does require the government to take care of a certain set of people. I think us on the outside feel maybe that they're getting special privileges by having access to healthcare at the level that they're getting, but it's just fundamentally not the experience of people on the inside. They are still suffering a great deal and still struggle to get medical care in a lot of respects.
By the way, this is the same group that successfully sued to get COVID vaccine priority for inmates early last year. Remember that when the vaccine supply was limited, a judge ruled that prisoners actually should get their shots at the same time as people living in long-term care facilities.
That was Pat Doris reporting. You can watch more of his coverage on The Story every weeknight at 6, right here on KGW. Now let's talk about PBOT's newest safety project, cameras to catch speeders and drivers who run red lights. Those cameras are going in at some of the most dangerous intersections, like at 122nd and Southeast Stark. This camera went in earlier this week, but the area has been a problem for years. Since 2015, there have been more than 120 crashes at this intersection, including 2 deaths.
These cameras are a proven safety improvement that are designed to get people to slow down, to follow the red signal when the signal turns red.
I think that's a great idea. Maybe they might slow down and actually pay attention to the road.
The cameras become fully operational on Monday. Citations start a month later on May 11th. The city says it plans to install more cameras in the coming months.